welcome to the Prosperous Musician. My name is Spence, and I've got a very special episode for you today. It is the music marketing special, and we've got two music marketing heavyweights to join us. And that's not a reference to their size, it's the reference to their clout, their absolute marketing genius. So first we have Viviana Venero. Please correct me if I'm saying your name wrong. Social media specialist from RichMusic Incorporated. Viviana serves as a social media specialist at RichMusic Inc. And we'll find out more about that in a very short time. The top boutique independent Latin record label in the industry. Since 2021, Viviana has managed the label's social media platforms and interacts with its growing audience on a daily basis by amplifying stories, successes, and impact of RichMusic and its diverse roster of artists. She fosters a community across channels while managing social platforms, all while strategizing innovative ways to increase brand presence, maintain online conversations. And we're going to dive into some of those innovative strategies in this podcast. And next we have, I tried to remember all this, but I can't. So here we go. And we also have Stephanie Hernandez, and again, please correct me if I'm saying your name wrong. She is the marketing manager. Stephanie serves as the marketing manager at RichMusic, the top boutique independent Latin record label in the industry. You knew that because I've said it before. Stephanie joined the label in 2021, and currently she oversees the development of global marketing and brand strategies across multiple genres to build the RichMusic brand, drive brand awareness and recognition, and nurture audience growth. During her time at RichMusic, Stephanie has also led the development of numerous social impact programs aimed at empowering people in the local community and across the music industry. Most recently, she launched the Women Up project, an initiative focused on promoting equal opportunities for women in the music and entertainment industries. Now, not only that, Stephanie has toured the nation and the globe as a professionally trained vocalist and soloist. In 2012, she participated in the American Idol competition, ranking among the top 15 finalists in Connecticut and receiving the infamous golden ticket again. And also, on top of all that, she became the first woman to be awarded a postgraduate fellowship at Berklee College of Music's Valencia, Spain campus. As a fellow, she worked on several passion projects, including a women's empowerment symposium for music and entertainment leaders. I hope that is a sufficient introduction for you both.
That's a lot.
Wow.
I'm not saying it again.
I don't think
So welcome both
wild.
to welcome both to the Prosperous Musician. And what I like about this is kind of how the music industry works, right? So I'm out there, I'm putting things out, and I'm attracting people in and saying, hey, if you're in the music industry, come on, let's have a chat with you. And so we had Soul 7. He was on there and he came in. We had a great interview, a great chat with him, really interesting guy. And then he put me on to more people from RichMusic. So this is how it all works. It's all about networking. It's all about learning from others, being interested in what's going on right now, today in the music business, because it doesn't stand still. It's always changing. And music marketing is a massive piece of the independent musicians toolkit. And if you're not interested in music marketing, you're going to struggle. If you want to learn more about music marketing, there's tons of stuff on the online. But what really is important is what's actually happening and what's working today. Because what worked 6 months ago, even 12 months ago, probably is obsolete now. So it's what is working today. And who better to talk to than two people who are doing it as we speak. So I'm excited about that. Let me hear about your background from your own words. Just tell me how you got into music. So if we start with, is it Viviana?
I can start. A little bit about me. I was born and raised in Puerto Rico, just an island in the Caribbean. It's obviously an island, just enriched in culture, and music was always just part of my blood, really. So growing up, I really used to look up to big names in reggaeton, which was a movement. So, Daddy Yankee, you name it, Don Omar, Wisin y Yandel, all those great artists. So it really just sparked my curiosity, just, where all the success came about really. So just studying in my bachelor's, I originally just wanted to do concerts and events, but I never thought music could be a career. So silly me. But I did, have an elective in artist management in school while I was pursuing my bachelor's. And that literally just was a trigger. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Just I can do this. So it was with a executive from Sony at the time, and he just really just took me under his wing, and he showed me the ropes and how it worked. And I did my research to pursue my master's in music at UM, and the rest is history. I'm here and doing what I love every single day.
Brilliant, thank you.
Yeah.
And Stephanie, same question to you. How did you first get started in music?
So it's funny because I'm also from Puerto Rico. So you have two ladies from the same island. I do agree with Viviana. We kind of grew up surrounded by music. And I think that's just part of our culture. For me, my journey into music was a little different, mostly because I fell in love by listening to song lyrics. And I always talk about this because my journey into music was through singing, and that's how I fell in love with music. I always say music was my first love. And so my favorite thing about lyrics is that they really tell a story. And so I consider myself to be a storyteller, whether I'm singing a song or in my day-to-day as marketing manager. A big part of my job is figuring out how to tell a story, how to connect with an audience, find stories that resonate with them. And so when I was thinking about what I wanted to do for my career, throughout my life, I always sang. But when it came, time to pick a career, I went to school first for business, with a concentration in marketing. And I also did a music minor. So I always found ways to kind of connect all my loves into one, because I always knew that I wanted music to be a constant in my life. And from there, I went on to get a master's degree, which really was more of a specialized degree in global entertainment and music business, with a concentration in live events. So I've always been passionate about storytelling, which goes hand in hand with marketing. I always wanted to do music. So then that's why I did those degrees that were very focused in music. And yeah, I think that's how I kind of found my way into music. And I also love what I do. And I think that's a really important part of being successful, is to actually enjoy what you're doing. And when you think about having a career in music, a lot of times you're told, like, unless you're a performer, and even when you're a performer, it's kind of tough to break into as an artist. So learning about those people behind the scenes was also a huge turning point in my career, because I was like, you know what, there's the people behind the scenes that are really rock stars, and people don't really know all the many career paths that are available there. Not just marketing, but just there, it's a whole world. And I hope that through my path, I'm also able to expose people to, this is an actual job. And it's a fun job, but it's also like you work really hard. So, but yeah, I love it.
That's great. And you both went to school to do specifically for sort of business, music business, that kind of thing, with that kind of focus. Now, we spoke to Alon before, and he I think that's how you met. He went to school, did the masters as well. But I just wanted to hear from you guys.
Which
you
is
were
funny.
in the same class, yeah.
We were actually in the same class, in the same classroom. And it's funny because we both ended up working in the Latin music industry in completely different opposite sides of the country in the US. But now we have artists that collaborate with each other. So it's such a small world that we went actually to Spain, went to the same music business program. And now, like, we kind of have crossed paths again. And that's happened not just with him, but with other people that were in my class. I actually welcome one of the girls that I worked with in the women's symposium that you mentioned before, and I welcomed him to speak at a conference that I put together. So the music industry is very small when you think about it, and you will cross paths with people, whether you went to school with them or just met them along the way. So yeah, that was funny.
What I wanted to ask was how important, obviously for you, you got your way in, but is education necessary? Do you need a degree, a master's degree, to get into the music business at that level, or can you just walk in? Like, can you just get an internship, or you just show up with just an interest and a passion? What do you think? What's your opinion?
You want to go? I think we can both speak to it, but
I mean, I can speak on it a little bit. The fascinating thing about, living in this era is that everything is available. So you do not need a master's, or, just, yes, education is very important, but in the sense that, like I said, everything is so available now in this digital era that you can just easily look up whatever topics you want to just learn about, which is so amazing. It's almost like for independent artists, now is a time to pursue a career in music, to learn about producing or how to market yourself. Just doing this now is also an outlet, an educational way of just learning about the business in a non-traditional way. So it's just great to, live in a world now that we can just Google it and you can find it, which is crazy. But Stephanie can also speak on it. And
yeah,
what do you think?
I think it was definitely helpful to go to school, and like we went to competing schools, right? University of Miami and Berkeley are known to be, they have some of the top programs. So we kind of like are opposites, but now we work together. I think it's definitely helpful to have gone to a program that was so specialized, but not everybody can do that. So here at RichMusic, one of the cool things is that everybody has a very different background and not everyone has a degree. So some people went to technical schools and they learned about production. Other people got a way in by simply doing an internship and then they got hired. And so yes, education is important and it can really help you. But there, like Viviana said, there's so many ways to now just learn in non-traditional ways. And I think, it's more about grit and having that persistence and dedication to really just get involved in projects. I had an intern. He was very young. He was only 18. He had never worked, but he wrote a cover letter and he told me about a project that was not necessarily music, but he used a lot of the skills that you would use in music. So a lot of skills are, you can transfer them. So I think as long as you decide that you want to pursue a career in music, you can find multiple ways in. It's all about connecting with people and really becoming an expert in whatever it is you do, whether it's marketing, production, engineering. Once you acquire those skills, I think you can find a way in. But you also have to be very persistent. It's not easy. So I don't want to make it seem like it is, because it did take years. But I think, you don't need a master's is what I'm saying.
So talk to me about RichMusic. What happens at RichMusic and what's its kind of history, and what are you working on at the moment?
So
that's a big question.
What I'm working on.
We're working on so much, but
yes, but it's a lot with our artists. It's great that we have signed a couple of new ones. We're trying to also just expand to the American market. Our bread and butter is reggaeton and the Latin side, which is all that good stuff with our artists and our producers from an array of countries, which is great. We get to just work together. It doesn't matter, where you're from and whatnot. We're big on collaboration is what I'm saying. So it's really good to just get in every day and no day is the same, and just work on different projects at the same time. Aside from our releases, it's, just artist growth and artist incubation, and just brainstorm and do content and all that fun stuff. And at the same time, working on other big marketing projects that Stephanie has created and executed. So it's a lot of things going on at the same time. You can speak on your project as well.
Yeah, I think no day is the same. And that is kind of like the nature of an indie label versus the majors. One of the things that Rich Music does that is, very unique is that we provide everything in-house for artists. So when it comes to creating anything from like a TikTok video to music videos, like larger projects, or I mean, really anything that we have in-house studios, like we're sitting in one right now where artists can come in and they'll be working on a song, but then another artist will come in just, hanging out, and then they'll jump into the studio and create like a hit. So I think it's a very unique environment where no day is the same for any of the team members. And like, for example, we are marketing. So we're working on marketing, but sometimes, we'll have the opportunity to propose a project that's outside of our expertise. But as long as it's a good idea, they'll allow you to execute it. So that is something, maybe when you're working in a more corporate environment, that's not necessarily, I don't want to say, I guess, encouraged or even allowed. Like, you're kind of doing what you're doing. And here it's just very innovative. We call it like a professional playground because we're always having fun. And even our spaces are super creative. We have like basketball hoops in the middle of our stage, it's not normal. And every day is different. Like Viviana said, we have up and coming artists, which if you look at the history of Rich Music, that's how they started. They found the artists that are now their cows and big artists, but they built them all the way up. And so now we're looking for artists. We have 2 up and coming artists. We signed our first female artist, which was a big deal. And then, now we're also looking, like Viviana said, to expand beyond that Latin urban, which is what we're known for, into the American market. We're small but mighty. That's how kind of we have established ourselves as a top indie label, one of the top indie labels in Latin music. So there's so many things that we do on a daily. They don't really limit us to our kind of roles. And I'm wearing a shirt, it says always dream. And that's kind of slogan. That's our slogan. So they encourage us to come in, dream. Like, actually our COO and co-founder is our biggest dreamer. He will hit us with the biggest idea. And I guess that's kind of the culture. Like, we don't look at a big idea and think it's not doable. We look at it and we say, how can we do it? And then we work to do it and execute. So I think that can transfer to artists as well. Like, we believe in what they're doing. And they can propose anything, and we try to make their visions come true. So it's a very unique environment. And yeah, I think we're both really happy every day.
That's great.
With that said, one of the biggest projects that we are working on is our artist search. So
yes,
I'm excited too. So we have this website, like a landing page where via Rich Music, you can kind of just apply, right? And whether you're an artist or a songwriter, a producer, a DJ, even an influencer, you can sort of just apply and just show us your work. And our A&R team will, just evaluate and listen and share with the team and be that sort of filter to just sign up and coming talent wherever. It doesn't matter if you're, in the States or Europe. It's just about just collaborating and finding the next big thing.
And that's really rare. The fact that we've opened it up. It's just like, just submit a Dropbox link, for example, with your tracks, and we'll listen to it. That's, again, not the norm. And I think that's what makes Rich Music, is that we don't do the norm. We're known to be like trendsetters and again, big dreamers. So I think that's really cool for also aspiring artists of any kind. Because the fact that we could also like work with, like, to sign an influencer, I don't know. I think that's cool. So
what a time to be alive. Love it.
Well, it sounds like a really amazing creative environment that you're working in, and all this amazing stuff coming out of it. So let's say somebody watching this now, they took you up on that and they said, right, I'm going to send you my music, their new artists. Yeah, and I'll get in touch with them. They like what they're doing. So what would happen then to them when they come into you? How would you take that artist from an unknown, just a raw talent? And what would the marketing strategy be to take them all the way to be a big star?
Well,
I like it. I like this question.
That's a big question.
Okay. You want to go first?
I mean, yeah, we can both kind of speak to it because we touch different things, right? Yeah. We're both in marketing, but we're also both experts. And the marketing team is made up of more than just us. But one of the great things about RichMusic, not just the marketing department, is that they have one person that is an expert in what they're doing. So for example, we have a content creator. He focuses on TikTok. We have Viviana. She's focusing on the major platforms. We have a YouTube specialist. We have somebody that's digital and looking at analytics and numbers all the time. So I think that helps in taking an artist that is raw and green and up and coming and building their career, because we're literally going to help you with every single aspect. An example that we can give you is we have weekly meetings with an artist. So for example, we want to create content. We sit down and we find out, what are you seeing out there that you want to do? What are we seeing out there that is working that we can replicate? So I think we basically take our knowledge and pass it on to artists. And also like we provide them with the ways to build their skill set. For example, we have one of our newest artists and we have given him dance lessons. We have given him piano lessons, guitar lessons. So even if you're missing something, we will provide you with things that make you a complete artist. And so again, that's kind of rare, because when you think about somebody trying to make it, they may feel like they need to have those skill sets. So that was something that was really cool to me, is that we're providing and we're building you up literally, but keeping in mind what your vision is, what you are comfortable with doing. So I think from my perspective, that's really important for a new artist, is to be able to provide everything that they would need to take them to the next level.
And with that said, I think as an artist, just like Stephanie said, and just making that vision come to life, it's about also just deciding what's going to be your branding. Okay, you're an artist. What is going to be the branding? How do you want to be perceived as an artist? What is your audience? What is your niche? Specializing as a segment, like what makes you different? Identifying yourself as, okay, these are my strengths. Let's promote it. Or these are my weaknesses. I need to work on it. But that can also be a strength. If I also just say an example, one of our artists, he wanted to learn guitar. He wasn't as, what's the word? Just experienced.
He literally started from the bottom. He had no
right.
But now he's performing at shows. He's playing the guitar. Right. He's playing his own music.
So this is an opportunity to kind of just flip it and just utilize it to your advantage, basically.
And Viviana, to what she does is she facilitates, like, for example, social media is such an important part of marketing. She will give them a weekly schedule of, you need to put out this amount of videos on TikTok, on Instagram. Like, so she provides a guide that they should follow. And so
what would that guide look like? Let's
break it down. Of course, I had one right here, but okay. So I think also, just so I could sort of educate the artist, right? We sort of have a lot of platforms for them, and they're all very different. Twitter doesn't act the same as TikTok, and Instagram doesn't act the same as Facebook. To us, it's sort of obvious, but for artists, it's my job to also just educate them and just have them take advantage of the platform the best that they can. So my content sheet, this is something that I created for myself and to share with artists. It starts with the requirements per social media platform. So Facebook, what should you be doing? three to five posts, stories on the daily. So minimum 3 to 5. And Instagram is sort of different, right? So it's about laying it out for them to see. Twitter, you should be posting ideally once every hour. But the good thing about Twitter is that you can, schedule. So you can take advantage of those features as well. TikTok, you should be posting ideally every single day, 3 times. So those things that, just the artist should have in mind in order to just when they come to the office or they're out and about, they just have it in mind to create, to create content wherever they go or they prep for it, just so they lay it out and they see it.
And we'll provide, like, that's also why it's good to have in-house a team, because for example, we have a producer and they're not about posting on socials as much. Like, they just want to be in the studio making beats, like doing their thing, like that's their thing. So having someone that is there, they've already seen the guide, but having someone there that will facilitate capturing that content makes it easier. And then Viviana will post for some of them if they're not posting. Others like to have ownership of their socials, so they will post themselves following the guide, particularly the more established ones. But yeah, I think just passing on that knowledge is really key to these new artists, and also like maintaining the big artists, because as you said, it's always changing. It like every day there's a new trend. So you kind of have to also keep up with it, because it's going to continue to change. So yeah, I think that's a big part of it. We also have like a creative team. They will give feedback. Like, for example, an outfit, like, is that really aligned with your brand? A cover art for an album. What do you want this project to be? How are you making it different? What is going to be your focus track? What is going to be your first single? So we have team members for each specific area. And I think, again, passing on that knowledge and really having these consistent meetings with the artists really help them be successful. And us too, because we're the label, right? So.
And with that said, just having these weekly meetings also helps me just showing them, which is another part of the content sheet, just your analytics. So this is performing well. Let's do it again, or let's put a spin on it. You did this cover. Let's do another. Maybe you put your spin on it. Instead of singing it in English, you do it in Spanish, or this particular artist is trending. So let's do a cover with this artist. So things like that really just
like a duet on TikTok.
Like
is that working with the create your own verse? Like things like that. It's just staying on top of trends, really.
And I put an emphasis on TikTok, which is right now the #1 artist discovery platform. So it's really about just maximizing TikTok to the max. We have seen already how many artists have just broken into the industry just by singing covers. So it's really about just amplifying and promoting yourself to the max in every platform, but emphasis definitely on TikTok and IG Reels. And I say IG Reels because Instagram, the algorithm, like you said, Spence, is always changing. So you have to just stay on top of it. But now more than ever, just IG Reels are also just very important. And because they also are recommended to Facebook. So you see, it's about cross promoting and utilizing all platforms to your advantage. So it's a lot to take in, but it's also fun.
Yeah. So would that all be organic posting that they're doing, or would you do paid advertising, or would you just put like money on, say something's going really well on TikTok or on Instagram? Would you throw some money on that to blow it up more, or is it all just organic the way you do?
I think we can both speak to it again. We work very closely. We sit in the same office, so we're constantly like seeing what's happening and what each other is doing. Each, from my side of things as marketing manager, I work with the VP of marketing, and he will provide a budget per project. So whether it's an album or a single, we kind of have this allocated budget. And sometimes we don't. For the up and coming, there may be no budget. So we do have to focus on very organic content or initiatives for marketing. But we do have the ability to also, if we see something's being successful, we will put money behind it. And again, that's why the guys that do the analytics and are paying attention to what's working is really important. Sometimes we'll see something take off. We just had a song that took off actually months later, not actually when it was released. And they sent a message to Viviana and said, hey, this song is finally taking off. Let's do stuff with it. So it's a mixture of both. It does vary case by case and also artist by artist. Because like I said, sometimes, and when they tell me there's no budget, like that's actually like, I sit back, I'm like, okay. Because then you have to be really, really creative about what you're doing. We can also create, like when we do have a budget, things to engage with fans. So like we'll do an incentive, like a fan giveaway. If you do this, if you go on YouTube and you comment, we'll grab your handle from there and we'll announce it on Instagram. So again, cross promotion of, we get them to do things that we want them to do, but we're also giving them something in exchange. So there's many ways to do it. We definitely do combine organic versus more strategize or putting money behind it. So yeah, I don't know if you want to add anything.
That was well said. I was just gonna say, but yeah.
Great. So you're saying like IG Reels, TikTok, YouTube Shorts, is that worthwhile for new artists to do? So
yes. Okay. So like Stephanie said, we have a specialist that does YouTube. So it just because it's our biggest platform, she handles just everything YouTube. But to your point, yes, YouTube Shorts are definitely important. If people are not very familiar with it, it's really just similar to IG Reels. But it's just great. It's another way to sort of take advantage of the platform and create additional content. You can kind of make it your own. If you release a song just on YouTube, you can sort of just do a YouTube Shorts. It's more just shorter content. I don't know, do a BTS or just give insight as to what you did with the song or something related to it, which is very fun as well. It's short snackable content, which is what all the platforms are trying to do now to sort of assimilate to TikTok. So it's just a booming platform, and it's really important to just read about it and use it as much as you can. And
we do tell the artists, like, it's sometimes you can use the same content across platforms, but it's also good to not do that. So when we speak to them about YouTube Shorts, we will let them know, like, it will be good if you create something that is specific for YouTube Shorts. So that's also something that we do look at.
Yeah. So not really best practices to sort of post everything on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, the same thing. It's about just doing different things and have it be exclusive to said platform.
So how does RichMusic, how does it make the main of the money? Is it from streaming? Is it from merch? Is it from licensing? How does the income come in nowadays?
I think it would be from the music itself. I mean, we do have something that we're doing is that we do everything in house. So we actually do have a print shop, and we create all the merch. We actually have the pencil pushers, which is our publishing arm. And so I think our bread and butter is the music and music consumption. But we are able to also, we're looking, like, for example, in some countries, like say Latin America, merch is not, they don't buy merch. So it also depends on your target market and who your main, I guess, countries, because we also have our target countries per artist, and that looks different. But yeah, I would say music is definitely our top income.
And that's through streaming, or do you do like physical releases?
I think it's
singles, albums.
Yeah, we don't really.
So mostly, yeah, streaming. We have done in the past, just selling physical CDs. We still do in our website. So CDs, and we even did vinyls. but it's mostly just digital streaming
Yeah.
and music consumption, like Stephanie mentioned.
Yeah, it's very, I feel like physical is kind of not minimal, but it's not where most of it comes from anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Who's the next artist that you're pushing? Who's the next one to come up, or the bigger name that's coming through RichMusic at the moment?
So we
have several.
We have because we have both producers and artists. So I think some of our up and coming artists, our first female artist, she actually just came out with a really cool project where she we kind of aligned it with Women's Month. But she collaborated with it was 5 artists total, including her. And they were all from different countries, very different like levels of well-known. For the most part, they were all up and coming. But they put this project together, and it was everything from like going to Colombia for songwriting camps to shooting all the music videos to finally bringing it to life. And I think that project is really cool. It's very exciting. So Bao Bao is her name. She's definitely getting traction. It's going to be exciting to see her growth. She is very unique in that she knows what she wants. And so that's rare for an up and coming, because you kind of are figuring out, right? But she has a very clear vision. I think she's been working on what that vision is going to be for a while now. So it's really refreshing that she comes to the meetings and everything. She just knows exactly what she wants to portray, what her brand is. So she is definitely one to look out for. We have Thiago, who is an artist we discovered. He's from Argentina. She's from Puerto Rico. He's from Argentina. So again, we kind of have different countries as well.
Can I just say that we actually discovered him from TikTok?
Yeah.
Him doing covers. So which is crazy. So
yeah, we sent him like a DM, and
So it works.
He was unique. He has a unique voice. And he is kind of like we're marketing him as the Latin Justin Bieber. I mean, he's his own type of artist, but he has that similar vibe, I guess. And so he's another one that we are building up. He's the one that received dance lessons and piano lessons and guitar lessons, and he's here every day. So that's one of the things that he moved from Argentina to Miami, and he's really been working on his craft and his everything that has to do with his music. We have other producers, like we have RichMusic. He's actually worked on really major tracks with huge artists already. So now we're kind of, I guess, building that awareness, because people may not know that he has done these incredible things. And he actually just moved to Miami from Panama. He got here. We're actually doing a welcome ceremony for him this week. It's really exciting to welcome him here in person, because we have been working with him remotely, because 2022 you can do that. And we also have Simon Dice, who is incredibly talented. He has also done big things, and it's all about building that awareness through press releases, through interviews, through everything that they're doing, really, and new exciting projects, because they are working on exciting projects that are going to be coming out in the next few months. So just a diverse roster, and we're looking to build it, as Vivi said. Like we're looking through our artist search to have more of that. So
great. Well, we'll drop the link for that down below. So if you're watching this and you can't wait, get on that link and send them this stuff now. And not just if you're an artist, if you're an influencer as well, right?
Yeah, yes. DJ, producer,
even photographer,
talent.
Yeah, we want talent. Give it to us.
We're looking for content creators.
Yes,
if you can create content, we will.
There you go. Perfect. And just a couple questions left. So, talk to me briefly about Miami. What's the scene like there? The music scene.
So neither one of us is from Miami. So that's a good question.
Yeah.
Do you want to start?
I mean, sure.
I have so much to say.
So, okay. it's sort of the mecca of just music, what I love to say. And it's
Latin
sort of,
hub for
yeah,
sure.
Latin hub, and it's sort of a melting pot of just music in general. There's a reggae, there's obviously reggaeton and Latin trap, but also a lot of just pop and
Electronic.
We're big on, Miami's really big on EDM for sure. Rock, even just a lot of just music everywhere, which I love to see and hear. So
And there's
mhm.
also a lot of, like she said, melting pot. There's a lot of different cultures. Like when
Mhm.
I first moved to Miami, I quickly found out it's a very unique city. But each location, like different cities, have a very specific demographic. So you have your Cubans, you have your Haitians, you have your Venezuelans, and they're all kind of, I don't want to say concentrated, but they definitely have areas that they have picked and settled. And they're all very different. One thing that's also interesting about Miami, you don't have to speak Spanish to be here, but like a lot of people do speak Spanish. Like when I first moved, they looked at me and they immediately spoke in Spanish to me, so that was interesting for me to experience. But I think one of the best things you can do if you choose to move to Miami is to become familiar with the cultures, the different music, go to the different music venues. You just immerse yourself, because the quicker you get to know those little hubs within Miami, I think that will make you stronger in whatever it is that you're doing, just to be aware of what the culture is, because music and culture go hand in hand. So you kind of do have to understand that. And also having just a global perspective, because
Mhm.
yes, Miami is the Latin hub, but you have from all different countries. So you kind of also have to just be aware of what's going on around the entire music scene. So just really be educated, really.
And what would for both of you, what would be your one piece, the golden piece of advice that you would give to anybody watching this now, as an up and coming musician? What would be your most important bit of advice for them?
So I can go first. I think it's about doing your research, and I can't emphasize it enough. It's about just staying on top of trends, emerging markets, just continue to build your own profile, and in an ever-changing industry, just try to separate yourself from the rest. I know it sounds really hard and you kind of just want to be successful and whatnot, but just changing perception and how you can just make it is very important. And it starts within yourself. So just recognizing what you want to do, how you want to market yourself. And again, just consume internet. And it sounds really silly, but even Spotify has a lot of resources. And if you don't know where to start, I would suggest Spotify for Artists. So this is really cool because they do have a lot of resources, like I said, but it's about also just streaming, just understanding how streaming works and the economy, and just data about how to reach your market, even how to market merchandise. So I like that Spotify has all these free music education resources for every artist to sort of just jump in and see, and have them do their own research and apply them for their own careers. So if you don't know where to start with Spotify for Artists. Also just reading newsletters. I really like, staying on top of Billboard. I wake up, I drink my coffee, and I read Water and Music, which is a great read. And social media too, just Instagram, just scrolling and finding all these DIY videos, people that are like just self-starters, self-artists. All that is really good to take into consideration. But even YouTube videos, everybody has social media now, and it's within everybody's reach. So it's about just jumping in and immersing yourself and finding what works.
Great.
I think she did cover a lot of it. My advice would be from a different side of things. I think one of the most important things as an up and coming artist, as an up and coming professional, like behind the scenes, I think being good to people, that's that's huge. And you may think it's like common sense, but it's not. And I say this because a lot of the industry is collaboration. You may be in a music studio and you're collaborating with someone. You may just be at a music show and you'll meet someone and you'll bump paths again. So I really do think whether you're an aspiring artist or an aspiring professional, just be good to people, because the music industry is very small. Like I said, like I went to school with someone in Europe, and now our artists are collaborating, you know? And so being good to people, I think is just a huge, it may seem small, but definitely keep that in mind, is that people will remember how you treated them. That may get you opportunities, or the opposite. They may just be like, no, don't work with this person. And staying humble. I mean, may you win, but stay humble.
I love that.
You're welcome.
Viviana, Stephanie, thank you so much for your time. This has been a blast, and some really great stuff in here. Thank you for being on the Prosperous Musician.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Prosperous.
Amazing.